Our culture has been hijacked by our government. When Kendrick said they're not like us, it was a dog whistle alerting us to something much bigger, and I can explain. Okay, first, let me show you how they gaslight you.
Weird thing. First things first, bro. I am North's favorite streamer, bro. Okay? So yesterday, all she wanted to do was meet me, bro. That was it. Literally. All she wanted to do was to meet me. So anybody who was making it weird, like, that's the weirdest thing ever because, like, bro, I have a whole bunch of parents whose daughters and sons would love to meet me, bro. And if I could, I would just meet everybody. You feel what I'm saying? We had a great time yesterday. Ray met Kim Kardashian. I met Kim Kardashian.
Don't just take my word for it, but this nigga is lying.
What is weird about this situation? Person I saw posting that. What is weird about this situation? You're making it weird. Why would this be a weird situation?
Who are you?
So he's an industry plant. He's an
Of
example
course,
of
he's
an
the
industry
opposite.
plant.
Total fucking that exact genre is the most industry plants. It's about like influence and mind control. And then he gonna mention my daughter's name a week later. It's like, nigga, don't mention my daughter's name and then you dissing what's paying a $200,000 a month child support.
Wow.
That's the
billionaire child support is different.
yeah, but it's like, don't mention this and then mention my daughter's name. It's like, it be that kind of shit where I'm like, that don't make God happy.
Manipulation and mind control. Now remember, liars will treat the truth with the same aggression as a lie. Now this is not the first video I've seen with that narrative. You're only getting a taste of how powerful the Kardashians' publicity team is. Now let's listen to an independent media source and see what they said about the same situation.
If you understand what Kanye's point of view was the entire time that he's been talking about everything related to Kim and North. And
Yes, I get that.
if you understand what his point of view was, then you too accessible for my liking. Like if you could push your brain to wherever his is, which is a tall task for people. But Kanye is of the impression that if you listen to Candace Owens and him and anybody else with a mouth, that MK Ultra has a handler on everybody famous in Hollywood and this weird shit going on, and people are too accessible, and people are doing shit for companies and platforms, and they're sacrificed and they're compromised. And so if you're doing that, then maybe my daughter being this accessible to shenanigans is.
So he mentioned MK Ultra. MK Ultra was an illegal CIA program whose purpose was to find procedures to psychologically torture and to brainwash people. The government said this program ended in 1973, but we could not trust the people to run the program illegally to tell us the program was canceled. Now, if you don't know what the Kardashians are capable of, I understand. It's hard to keep up with these liars. This content creator did a great job on scratching the surface of the evil deeds of the Kardashians, but let's do some quick hits.
Jenner's church is a money laundering scheme or like a pyramid scheme, because to attend this church, you pay $1,000 per month on top of 10% of your income just to be a member. I guess there's some fine print that says in this contract when you join this church that your money will all go back. The pastor of this church that is still running today was hand-selected by Kris Jenner after he had been exiled from his previous church for having multiple affairs while being married, on top of a myriad of other criminal activity. He was not the man to be teaching a congregation. When he was originally exiled from his previous churches, he admitted himself that he was not capable of leading a congregation.
Okay, rich people stuff, but there's more.
Them, because everybody has to have a red line, and that red line should always be child pedophilia, child pornography, anything that harms children, especially when you are a mother, okay? So Kim did issue a statement after I said, wow, I can't believe we have made it all the way to Sunday. It has been 6 days and she still has not made a statement. Of course, this went viral, and then within an hour, she did issue a statement. Here's what she wrote. Quote,
"This is what the people was upset about, and here's the statement she wrote. It wasn't fitting for the situation. Also, it took far too long. And let's pay close attention to the last photo with the purse in the court documents.
Was a document regarding a court decision, a Supreme Court decision, Ashcroft versus the Freedom of Speech Coalition. So what was this case pertaining to? Essentially, the Freedom of Speech Coalition won, and they had some elements pertaining to virtual child pornography removed from a larger Child Pornography Act, basically saying that those particular elements were too broad. So essentially by...
Now remember, don't idolize idols and don't listen to what they say about black sheep.
And now we have Ray J.
Look the other way. Nah, we not looking the other way. Fuck that. As long as my name cleared, y'all, everybody getting sued because they all motherfucking putting out fake stories. Look, so I see the shit. I'm like, you want to play games with me? Okay, let's play. Then she go big. She goes big. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna take this shit from you threatening me. Do whatever the fuck you wanna do. You told me to do anything, wait for that episode to come out, so I did just that and haven't seen one story about it. I could have tried to control the narrative, but you, look at what you saying to me. I could have controlled the narrative for me? Like, look at you.
And some more Ray J.
You've been trying to play me on called Santa Barbara Sex. Her mama made us go shoot it for safety. She watched the mother and said, hey, we're going to go with the first one because the first one is better. It gives my daughter a better look than the second one that I made y'all go do. But you watched it and made a decision. And then you get on whatever show you was on and take a lie detector test with a fraud.
And more of some of Ray J's drama.
Anyway, because you guys are just disgusting and sick, and stop being with her. I don't understand it. She's so old and sick, and you are just sick and desperate. So leave me the alone and stop calling me. I hate you.
So it's being alleged that she left that voicemail because she was upset that Ray J at that moment was becoming more famous than her.
And now that leads us to here.
Kardashian's turn. Ever since Diddy got exposed, fans have been looking closely at Kim, saying she knows a lot more about his operations than she's letting on, especially when she managed to unfollow him 24 hours before his homes were raided. Diddy and Kim both made a deal with top people in the entertainment industry to advance their career.
But as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas fuck, because you can't shoot nobody anyway, and the reason why you got talk is because you did a deal, you fucking fed. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta come at me, because part of the deal for you to be a do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're gonna go pull my.
Now, did he say top people in the industry, or did he say the feds?
Is the connection between Lou Taylor, Kim, and Diddy. You know how Lil Rod's lawsuit claimed that Diddy would pay off his victims through third parties? The lawsuit alleged that Diddy always bragged about departed attorney Johnny Cochran's savvy legal skills and ability to pay off the witnesses through private investigators and other third parties. The streets are saying Lou Taylor is one of those third parties the lawsuit is talking about. Word on the street is Lou Taylor allegedly used to pay off Diddy's victims with funds from the church.
Now, I also feel like this is government propaganda. I feel like they were put in place to do a job by the government, but they made too many mistakes, and now they have to go down with the ship. And the biggest mistake they made was Kanye West.
Church fund, okay?
Listen, Lou Taylor, Diddy, Kim, and Chris were about to do the same thing they did to Britney to Kanye, except Kanye was smart enough to see them coming and expose their moves before they even made them. Y'all remember when Kanye tweeted about Kim trying to fly a doctor to his ranch in Wyoming to declare him unfit so she could put him in a conservatorship? Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up in the movie Get Out because I cried out about saving my daughter's life yesterday.
Okay, y'all, listen to this girl, bro. She don't normally sound like this. You made it this far. Okay, now we can listen to her, please.
Back into Michael Jackson, what we learned in the Diddy documents, just to very quickly recap. Well, if you read through them, again, these are all allegations, but you will come out of it understanding that there is allegedly some sort of a blackmail ring that is operating throughout Hollywood, and that artists that are producing music are actually being controlled via being induced into drugs at parties, and then what takes place is they're being recorded, and sometimes they're being recorded while they are in committing sexual acts with minors. And something that we also saw in these docs is that these parties, at least a lot of them, are taking place in the Virgin Islands, which again just makes you go, what's happening here? Because Jeffrey Epstein, obviously, his home, or he owned an island that was just off the coast of St. Thomas. So we hear that again. I also am jogging your memory about the Bitcoin millionaire who, right before his death, found drowned, accidental drowning, even though he was fully clothed and had his wallet in his pocket, tweeted that the CIA and the Mossad were running a blackmail ring in the Virgin Islands. Something else that we learned in the Diddy lawsuit was that the media and the authorities are complicit. So the ring has real power, not imagined power. Again, I am using the word alleged because this person, despite having, video evidence and he has presented photographic evidence, this has not yet gone through the court system. And so we can't say that it's entirely true. And I'd say the biggest point that we took away from these Diddy docs was that this ring, if you believe it exists, can and will murder people. When everything was going on with Michael Jackson, the lawsuits, his death, I thought that we were in full conspiracy theory territory when people were saying that Michael Jackson was killed. I actually know a lot of people that are in the industry who believe that Michael Jackson was killed, and I just thought it just sounds too whacked out to believe that somebody intentionally killed Michael Jackson. Of course, why would they do that? And also, I was believing the media. The media was extensively saying every single day that he was a pedophile, even though he factually won his case. I allowed my image of Michael Jackson certainly to be corroded by the media.
Evidence that P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, has been running a sexual blackmail operation very much like Jeffrey Epstein, but in the rap and music industry for basically 30 years. And in that lawsuit, we learned that his head of security while he's running the sexual blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson when he was only 21. And he was one of the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson died. And before we go to Michael Jackson, the most important part of the Diddy case to bring across is the fact that the record executives at the very top knew what P. Diddy was doing. They were attending the parties with underage girls where they were spiking drinks. They were deeply involved in Diddy's personal life, and all evidence points to them supporting his operation, or at the very least, turning a blind eye to it.
And I just want to add that I watched this girl talk a lot. She seems, when I'm watching this back now, it's like she seems emotional. Like she seems different. And this is within the time she got fired from her last job. But
we're pointing it out now. In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. Okay? Do you realize what's wrong with that yet? Anything coming to mind? When did Michael Jackson die? June 25th, 2009. Jackson died from cardiac arrest caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose, caused by his doctor, apparently. Hold up. Hold the phone. Pause. Why is a dude who just graduated college last year with a business and real estate degree the head of security for the king of pop, for Michael Jackson, the most famous musician?
Yeah, that is remarkably suspicious. And if we had a media that was interested in actually presenting the truth and not just propagandizing on behalf of the state, they would probably explore and look deeper into who this character is. But of course, that's not what the media does. Instead, they are meant to convince people of certain narratives. And like I said in the past, I've been a victim to that. I was obviously very young when everything was going on with Michael Jackson, and I believed the media, which is why I was kind of stunned to kind of go back and revisit the Michael Jackson case. And Ian has extensively unpacked that, revealing, and I did not know this, maybe perhaps because the media wasn't interested in telling us the end result. But yes, the FBI raided Michael Jackson's home. They poured through hours upon hours of the video footage that he had, other materials, documents that were in his house, trying to find this connection to Michael Jackson and potential child abuse. And what ended up being the result was that they could not find a single shred of proof, found not guilty of all of the charges that were brought against him.
And yes, Jackson did say that the Jews are, probably referring to the Jews in the music industry, are like leeches and that they took everything from him and that they did it on purpose. But when you look into those allegations or those insults, you realize that because of his will that was probably fake and filed right before his death. So the will was signed on July 7th in Los Angeles by 3 witnesses. But Jackson's family pointed out that he was in New York that day and there's video proving it. So they changed their story. But the witnesses definitely saw it and it was just in New York. So anyways, because of this will, John Branca was put in charge of his estate, which included his net worth of $230 million, but far more importantly, his 50% share of Sony ATV worth $750 million. Yes, he was taking on Sony. He was going after the hand that feeds him. And when you look into John Branca, in 2003, Jackson fired Branca because he was siphoning money out of Jackson's accounts in collusion with Sony Music CEO Tommy Mottola and funneling it through a bunch of offshore accounts in the Caribbean. John Branca is Jewish, and Tommy Mottola.
We are coming for you, Candace, on the media, on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter.
The more she defends Kanye West, the more we're going to call her out.
Enough people that are speaking out about a ring in Hollywood, also a ring potentially in DC, that we should start to ask those questions. All of us. Black.
Yeah, so, yeah. And when I started posting this stuff on TikTok, I've been like getting a lot of like accounts that don't really seem like a real account of people like bullying me and messaging me and saying all type of things to me. So I don't know how a better way to spell it out to y'all, but they not like us.